Hi, this is a Yesterday's Moose production, and today I'm going to be playing Konami Arcade Classics. Actually, I'm going to be doing a review. That's what I'm going to be doing because I like doing reviews now. And I have a lot of video game collections. In fact, I have a lot of games, period. So I felt that since I can't go into all of them in depth, maybe I could do a few reviews. And this is one of my favorite collections from PlayStation 1. As you can see, it's got very simple animation for the introduction. Not too bad, at least as far as PlayStation 1 games go. Typically, the CG rendering was not fantastic. However, this is pretty good. I like this one. It shows off a bunch of the games, all of the games in fact, in the collection. And all of these games are genuine arcade classics that I used to play way back in the day when they had arcades, and they would eat up all your quarters. Games from 1981 through 1985, I believe. And this game actually has two introduction cinematics. I'll show off the first one now, and then I'll show off the other one at the end of the review. Now, first thing that I'm going to talk about is this introduction screen here. First, I'm going to go into history. Now, history is just like an extra features where you can get information about all of the games. We can also see a list of all of the games here. For example, we'll go into this, and you get to see a little write-up about the game. Not too much information, but a little bit of it. And I'll go through it one by one, and I'll let those flash on the screen. This is a nice feature. I don't think a lot of PlayStation 1 collections had this kind of extra feature going on, where they at least put in some information about the games. So it's a nice little extra. And it certainly adds to the value of this collection. This collection is actually also a cautionary tale for myself, because there was a time where things weren't going so well for me, and I went and sold all of my games, and originally I had found this game online for $4. That's right, $4. And then I ended up selling it. And a while later I decided, you know what, I'm going to get that back because I like this collection. I found it online. Again, I believe it was $120. And then I was like, no, that's too much. I'm going to go to a game store that was near me, and I'll see how much it is. And it turned out to be $88. And $88 was a savings as compared to $120. However, I missed that $4 price point that I first got it. I should not have gotten rid of it. But that's the story of all the games that I ended up selling. I had to get a lot of them back, and they ended up costing me a lot more. And at this point, I pretty much have gotten all of them back. Oops, I almost forgot Time Pilot. So here is Time Pilot. So now I'm done going through all of these games. If you want it, you could pause and read what it said. I give this points for putting it in the collection and giving some information. I like that sort of thing. It would be nice if there was videos from the creators and such. However, I'm pretty sure they would not have been able to fit it into this collection. Some of the PlayStation 2 games did that, and even PlayStation 3, but PlayStation 1 I don't think they would have been able to fit that in. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of there, go back to the introduction screen, and I'll go into the option. I should say options, but it's option. And this, you can save your settings on your memory card, load them up, have some sound options. Let's see what that is. Okay, stereo and mono. Okay, not too interesting there. You got the vibration function, you can turn that on and off. And you go into the options here and you can actually set the difficulty setting of each of the games. You can also view the high scores. And if you save on your memory card, that is what you're saving. You're saving what you have set up here. Now that is a nice addition. It's nice to be able to change the difficulty setting of the game and also modify how many lives that you get to use in the game. However, you cannot set this once you've entered into the actual game. Like once you've gone into the selection of games, you cannot change the settings. You have to exit out and go back here if you want to change anything. You can't just change it on the fly. You kind of decide what it's going to be before you even get to that point. So I'll exit out of here and you'll get an idea of what I'm talking about. Go into Game Start, and then we have the main menu here. We've got some music going on in the background. I realized in my previous reviews I didn't go as much in depth as I would have liked, or done what I would have considered a really good review. So I'm going to talk about a little bit more things when it comes to the collection here. We got some background music, which is nice. It's kind of catchy. We got a pretty good interface here. We got 10 games that we can select from. These are all arcade classics in their own right. And first of all, we will list them off, and you get a nice little preview of the game here. I recently did a review of the Sega Genesis collection for Xbox One, and funny enough, it did not have a preview of what the games look like, so you just had to go in them. So here we go. Anyways, we got Pooyan. Pooyan is a fun little game where you are a pig and you're shooting wolves, and you get points. Well, you're actually shooting wolves who are riding on balloons, so you actually shoot the balloons, not the wolves themselves. And then we got Scramble, which is a shoot 'em up or a spaceship shooter game where you have to shoot missiles that launch at you and fuel tanks to get your fuel. Apparently a very popular game. I don't remember it being in the arcade. I might have seen it once or twice. We got, I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce this, Ye Are Kung Fu, which is an awesome kung fu game. This is a one-on-one fighting game. You cannot play against another player. You do, however, take on various opponents, and you have a lot of different moves that you can do in this kung fu game. I'm probably going to do a video of this. The only thing is I have a lot of trouble defeating the final fighter, so I kind of would like to show off the whole game, but I might have to do some editing to make that happen. Got Roc'n Rope, which is a very weird psychedelic game where you have to get a feather of a phoenix, and you go from the bottom of the screen to the top. The whole catch of the game is that you are this rock climber, I suppose, and you climb up a rope from one platform to another. It's actually pretty hard to get through. You got Shao-lin's Road, which is a game that I just made a video of. It's a very simple game. You have one attack, which is kick, and you have jump, and I think there's like 6 levels if I had to guess off the top of my head. It's a good game. I like it. Certainly not too involved. Circus Charlie, I definitely remember this game. It was at an arcade near my school, and I would go and play this game because I found it fun that you had these different circus events. I think it was a really good idea making this into an arcade game. I have made a video of Circus Charlie. With some fancy editing, I was able to get through the entire game. One of the events is a trapeze, and until I'd done the video, I was never able to pass the trapeze, but while I was recording, I figured out how to do it, and so I decided to edit in myself finishing that event. And here we have Super Cobra, which is a helicopter shoot 'em up game. It's exactly like Scramble, except it's a helicopter. Now, I remember I had this as a tabletop game. Um, it was a LCD game. Well, it wasn't exactly an LCD game. It had things that would light up to represent the environments and the helicopter and stuff. It's kind of hard to explain, but a lot of the old tabletop arcade games were like that, where you would have preset graphics and they would just light up when needed to show what you were doing. And it's a hard game. I was really good at the tabletop game. This game, however, very difficult. We got Road Fighter, which is not something I'm really getting into. Not one of my favorite games of this collection. It's there. You can play it. I suppose it's alright. I can't say a lot about it because it's not something that I go to frequently. You got Time Pilot. This game is awesome. I made a video of this game, and it's probably up on my channel by now. It's fun, and you travel in time, which is a cool sort of mechanic. You have to shoot down all the planes and then shoot the main boss plane, I suppose you would call it. And that's how you advance from one time period to another. And now we got Gyruss, which is an arcade spaceship shooter, which is a very famous game with very famous background music. So overall, I would say that this interface is easy to use. It's self-explanatory. Like I said, you get a preview of the game. It shows the name of it. It shows what the game looks like. It shows when it came out. However, when you go into the game and play the game, you only have the option to exit it. You don't have the option to reset the game. So if you want to reset it, you actually have to exit out. And every time you exit out of the game, you actually are forced right back to the title screen. Not this selection here, the title screen. So that is a little bit of a bummer. I really wish that wouldn't happen. Now, I'm going to show off these games one by one very quickly here. By the way, also, once you go to this title screen, you're always forced back to Pooyan. It always goes to Pooyan as a default. So let me go into Pooyan here very quickly. And the reason why I want to show these off is because it shows off the instructions for the game. You can't change the setup of the controls. You can't change what buttons are what. However, it has some instructions which are kind of neat. They're very simple, very easy, gives you an idea of what you're supposed to do in the game. I'll go ahead and press start. I'll play it for about, I don't know, 10, 20 seconds, something like that. I don't know. However long I think I should play it, just to give an idea of what you're supposed to do. Now, I forgot to enable it, but you can use the analog control stick if you happen to have one for PlayStation 1. I'm actually playing this on my PlayStation 3, so I could set up the options for that, but I forgot to do it. So I'm kind of stuck with the digital up and down, because that's all you got. You got up, down, and shoot. So there you go. That's that game. So go ahead and exit. So this will give you an idea of what happens when you exit out of the game. Force back to the start. There you go. Now I'm going to go into Scramble. Got shoot and missile. In this game, I would advise doing both at the same time, because you have targets on the ground and you also have targets in front of you. Now, this is one of those games where you have to shoot fuel tanks to replenish your fuel. You also have forward and backward momentum. Oops, I crashed. That happens a lot in this game. I think once I get out of this game, I'm going to enable the analog controls. I'll edit it out, but I'll enable that because I find this actually really annoying to use the PlayStation's digital controls, I guess it's called, up, down, left, right. So let me exit out of here, go back to the title screen, and then back. There we go. Put it on analog mode, so now I can use the analog control. I'll play, which I think this is my favorite game of the collection. I shall go into that. You got punch, you got kick. However, here's all your moves. Make sure that you memorize them. It's kind of like Karate Champ, except Karate Champ had two joysticks, one for movement and the other for doing your attacks, I should say. This, however, you have punch and kick, and depending on which direction you're pushing the controller in, that will determine the move that you do. So here we go. I'm gonna face Buchu. Love the music in this game. This actually has a bad case of the annoying sound effect when you lose too much health. I'm gonna beat Buchu here. See if I can do all of the moves. He's going all over the place, so it's really ah, take that, Buchu. Okay, that's enough of that game, because I could just keep playing it indefinitely. And I'll go back to here. Let's go to Roc'n Rope. Haven't played this in a while. Connect the ropes. Use the flashlight. Yes, the flashlight is your weapon. A very useless weapon, but it is your weapon. Let's see if I can get past the first stage here. There's the Phoenix, by the way. And if I can get to the Phoenix, we shall see why this is a trippy game. Go, go, go. There we go, thank you. Going up, get the feather. Yes. No, no. Take that. Can I get up there? Nope, get off, get off. If they hit the rope, I will be knocked off to my doom. So that's why I'm trying to avoid getting hit. No, 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 don't hit me. Go, 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 yes. If I can get up there, this would be awesome. Oh, go, go, go. The controls are really hard to master. Oh no! Did I get hit by that thing? I got hit by the thing. Okay. That really sucks. Thank you. Thank you for ruining that. Yep, that's super awesome. Alright, since Roc'n Rope was evil and made me lose, here's what the ending of that level looks like. Okay, on to Shao-lin's Road. Got kick, you got jump. You can actually jump by pressing up, and that will jump you up to the next level. Pressing the jump button will make your character jump. Yeah, that makes sense. See, jump button, press up, jump button, press down, press up. So there's a difference in the jumps that you can perform, but you only have one type of attack, and you can get those bonus things by hitting the bad guys with the yellow robes or yellow pants. They give you different power-ups. So I feel like this is an okay collection. There's 10 games. All of them, to me, are classics. I like pretty much all of the games, like I said, with the exception of Road Fighter. I don't really like that one. But 10's an okay number. I suppose it could have had more games. I really have no idea how many arcade games that could be fit on a PlayStation game, because it's a CD. But I have a feeling that it's probably more than 10. Because old arcade games from back in the day, I don't suppose took up very much memory. I could be wrong. I'm not a video game programmer. Oh no, I lost. I mean, I'm not a video game programmer unless you count RPG Maker for the PlayStation as video game programming. Okay, so I'm gonna exit out of here. There's a bunch of different events, so I could just keep playing that for a very long time. Okay, let's play Super Cobra, which is the helicopter game. This one I think I'm a little bit better at. It's exactly the same controls as Scramble. Oh yeah, this is so much better with the analog controls. Quite a difference it makes. I have an Atari collection for PlayStation 1, and some of the games allow analog controls, but there's one that doesn't. So that's really weird. One game out of the whole collection does not allow for analog control. Who thought that was a good idea? Oh, I'm actually doing really, really well. That's unusual. I think this this game, Super Cobra, I think it's easier than Scramble. Oh no. Okay, time to exit out of there. So these games, I would rate the games themselves out of 10. Let's see, games themselves out of 10 moose, I'll give them 8 moose, because there could be more games. 8 out of 10. And also the quality of the games. All of them are very memorable. Games that I have played in the arcade. Again, with the exception of Road Fighter. I might have seen it, but never really played it. It's not that fun. We'll see how well I do when I decide to play. Okay, I'm doing terribly. Really horribly. Okay, exit out of there. Go ahead and press start. Alright, so that was Time Pilot. Oh, I totally skipped over Road Fighter. Okay, let's do Road Fighter now. Let's see what Road Fighter is. We got low gear and high gear. Okay. We gotta drive past cars. Yep, okay. Seems simple enough. I am now rank 40. How will I do? I meant to say, how well will I do? But came out wrong. This actually reminds me of another tabletop game I had. It was definitely not a video game. It had a plastic cutout of a car, and with a physical steering wheel would move that cutout of a car left and right, and other cars that were on 2 conveyor belts would slowly move towards my car, and I would have to move my car out of the way to avoid them. It was basically a video game for people who don't play video games. It was, like I said, it wasn't a video game at all. It was a physical thing, but it acted like a video game. And there we go. I did terribly, so I'm gonna exit out of this game. And then we're on to Gyruss, which is another one of my favorite games here. Only got one thing to do. Shoot. That's all you gotta do. And you got some awesome music. Since recording the video for it, one of my viewers mentioned that this game came out on NES. I mean, it seems fairly obvious, I guess, that it would come out for NES, but I didn't know that, so I went and watched a video of the NES version. It's pretty good. It's got some interesting changes to the game, but I'm kind of partial to the arcade version. Come on. Let me defeat you before I stop talking here. Haha. Okay, so that's enough of that. I shall exit back to this. And maybe we'll see the second cinematic. So at this point, I'm gonna let that happen, and then I shall give it an overall score for the whole collection. Come on. It takes 30 seconds. 30 seconds is a long time when you're recording stuff, believe me. Yep, here we go. I find this kind of interesting that there's two intro cinematics. That's very uncommon. Maybe they couldn't decide on one, so they decided to have two. Or they were like, well, we have one introduction. You know what would make it really cool? Having another one. Hooray! So there we go. Okay, so for the games, I gave it the score that I did before. Overall, for the entire collection, good things, the games are all pretty memorable. They are all arcade classics. Bad things, you don't really have that many games to choose from. It's an okay selection. There could have been a few more. The fact that you're always forced back to this introduction screen, not really that great. Also, for the options, it would be nice if you could change the options when you're looking at the list of the games that you can select from. Same for the history. It would be nice if you could just view the history from that same layout as well. This one I'm talking about here. And overall, for this collection, out of 10 moose, I shall give it the same score as I did for the games themselves. I'm going to give it 8 moose out of 10. Because it could be a little bit better. Not bad. Like I've said repeated times, I like the game selections. They're all good in my opinion, with the exception of Road Fighter. And I would say that it would be nice if there was a high definition update, like on PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, so that if I wanted these games on a more modern system, I could do that, and I wouldn't have to use my old PlayStation game to play it. Fortunately, PlayStation 3 allows you to play PlayStation 1 games, so that's how I'm able to have it here. So at this point, I've gone on for almost 30 minutes. It'll probably be 30 minutes pretty soon. So I shall go and end the video here. So 8 out of 10. There we go. Thank you very much for watching. This has been a Yesterday's Moose production, and I'll see you next time.